All right, what's up, Fight Fam? This is G, one one of the fellas of the Boxing Bros, and we're with our boxing cousin, Complex. How you doing, brother?
What's good, G? What's up?
Right, all right. And so the reason why we're here today is because apparently, when I was away, the rest of my boxing bros they ranked Wilder's skill sets, right? And so some of these guys were kind of outrageous, but salute to Ned the cameraman. And I actually disagree a lot with Caden as well. No, I won't say a lot, but with a couple of categories. And so I took it upon myself to contact our boxing cousin Complex to have a discussion, seeing that we are Wilder fans, and so we're trying to be fair and balanced. So let's get this started. So Complex.
What's up?
Let's start off with Deontay Wilder's power. How do you rank it?
Oh, you already know. The power's a 99. Like, the power's a 99. The power's a 99. I mean, I saw a little bit of the other video. You know, I get that it's just a UK channel, so you guys are going to lean more towards the UK fighters. And I understand that, but we're in America right now, right? And I'm an American.
All right, USA all the way. All right, I got you.
Damn,
all right, so.
But anyways, no, but in all of seriousness, Wilder's power is a 99. If there was ever a 2K, whatever, if you would rate somebody's power, he's a 99. I mean, the only reason why is not, I wouldn't give it a full 100 is because, he doesn't have 100% knockout ratio, but he's damn near close. I mean, Wilder's on a level of knockout power that is you rarely see in I mean, we're talking about the Edwin Valeros of the world, the Julian Jacksons of the world, the guys who like hit you dead. You know what I mean? Wilder's got that kind of power. Like, stop playing. I know we want to joke and hate on him or whatever. Bro, nobody's knocked out 40-something opponents in a row straight. Come on. Like, really? The dude's power is real. The only time his power hasn't come through was the first Tavern fight, which it actually looked like he was holding back. He was trying to only box. Then the first Fury fight, which we've all seen, he almost closed the show, but he knocked the man down, and then the last fight where he got mollywopped, which fair enough, he lost. But apart from that, he's literally knocked out every man. Nobody has that kind of win percentage of straight knockouts, especially after over 40 fights. It's crazy, dog. It's an insane number. I don't care, especially in the heavyweight division. You go and try and knock out 40 men in a row. I don't care. 40 men on the street, bro. You might end up getting knocked out yourself. You know what I mean? It's not an easy feat to do that, especially guys, 40 professional boxers, world-class level boxers. You can't, it's not possible. If he didn't have that kind of real power, he wouldn't be able to knock all those guys out. And his power is what's made him special. It's not the years and years of amateur background, which he doesn't have. It's not like a long pedigree or anything like that. It's his power. It is what it is. But you know what? It's real. And right now, he's the hardest hitting heavyweight. I mean, even Fury said it. Fury was like, yo, I've never been hit like that, So at the end of the day, I got to give Wilder a 99. If you want to say 98, 97, I won't disagree with you. But anything less than that, I think you're trolling because –
A word? I might as well go and say my number.
Go ahead. What you got?
I actually got it at a 95. And
okay.
Reason why is because, currently right now his KO percentage is a 93%, and so I didn't want to give him a 93 because I do believe, he is for the most part, even though with the exception of his last fight, when you look at the Stavern 1 fight, he still rocks Stavern. Like, remember, he dropped Stavern a few times.
He's dropped every opponent he's ever been with.
Exactly.
He's dropped them.
Exactly. So even though he didn't knock out Stavern in the first Stavern fight, he punished Stavern. So he actually does a good job. Same thing with the Tyson Fury draw. Within that fight, he dropped Tyson Fury twice. And so with the exception of his last fight, he's always put somebody on their ass. And so to me, I'll agree with anybody that says 90 and up because clearly, like, that's what Wilder. That's his bread and butter. So So I got it 95, you got it 99. So our average is 97 for power.
All right, that's
So
fair. Another reason why it's power, I just want to say, is that Wilder's outweighed by almost all his opponents. That says something, especially in the heavyweight division where it's
yeah, that's freakish
unlimited.
nature right there.
Come on, he's weighed 212 pounds and knocked out a 260-pound man. That's not normal. That's not you. Come on, what are we talking about here? That is special power. This dude, all world, all level power.
All right. So now we're gonna go into speed. So what you got for speed?
For speed, I gave him a 92.
A 92. All right. You want to explain?
So for speed, the thing is, this is all subjective anyways, but, for speed, the reason why I give him a 92 is I think Wilder's in the 90s for most things. I think about other fighters, right, and other levels. And speed, you could look at it different ways. There's kind of movement speed, foot speed within the ring, but there's also hand speed, right? I think Wilder's pretty good in both. He's not now when we talk about smaller fighters who got really fast hands, it's not the same. He doesn't box that way, right? But he can get from point A to point B in like the split of a second. And I think that's a lot of times what has helped him with his knockout power is because he's in guys' faces before they realize it. And he gets the right hand from when he sets it up with the jab. A lot of times it's the pawing jab. He has the hand in the eyes, and they don't see it coming, and he immediately follows it with the right cross. And that's what really gets guys out of there. The most times where it's like that one hit clean knockout. So I think that takes a lot of speed. And you've heard other fighters who've been in there talk about his speed. Even Fury said he's very fast. So I gave his speed a 92. I mean, I think anything 90 and up is fair for Wilder in terms of speed because
yeah, every time you do that, then I have to.
You go in.
Man, yo,
me,
listen, because I agree with your logic behind your ranking. I just don't score it as high, but I agree with you.
That's fine. Yeah.
For most part. So I gave him an 85 for speed, and like what you said, from A to B, when Wilder season opening, he fires like a rocket. However, this is where I feel like he does lack. His jab isn't as fast as his straight right or his left hook, and so a lot of guys, they either they weave or they block or they just most of the time just move out the way when it comes to the jab. But a lot of times too, he uses the jab as a measuring stick. So I can't use that against him. But
his jab, he doesn't really use like the stiff jab like he did in the Stavern fight. But since then, he's mostly used it really just as a setup for the right hand.
And even with the Stavern fight, it wasn't that fast. It was just a hard-hitting jab. And so Stavern, for the most part, was just absorbing punches. But I'll be curious to see somebody who was less flat-footed in the ring and while they're throwing jabs that way, could he connect with those type of jabs? And I don't really see it that well. Like, when it comes to Wilder, I just have to be honest. Like, his left hook is pretty good and his straight right hand is amazing when it comes to the speed. But his jab, not so much. And so that's why I gave him an 85.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, because you got it at a 92, I got it at 85. So that makes our average at 89 for Deontay Wilder's speed. Okay. So now, we'll probably switch it up. I'll probably go first on this one.
Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to stamina, right? So I'm going to break this down similar to how I did with Deontay Wilder. I mean, not Deontay Wilder, excuse me, Anthony Joshua, right? So I have Deontay Wilder before the Fury rematch and Deontay Wilder at the rematch, right? So I would say before the rematch with Tyson Fury, I had Deontay Wilder at a 90 for stamina. Okay. But however, the reason why you'll see his last fight, I gave his stamina 65. What? In that rematch with Fury. All right. And let me explain. Go ahead. I think you're going to get it. If you watch the rematch again, right? Wilder was on wobbly legs. Like, Wilder was on wobbly legs since the first round. Like, before even Tyson Fury even applied, like, pressure, you could see Wilder looked already fatigued. His legs weren't stable underneath him, and the fight just started. So I have to be honest, right? And remember, in that fight, I think Wilder landed like probably 3 or 4 right hands, straight right hands to Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury ate them things like Scooby snacks. So you could equate it to two things: either Tyson Fury's chin developed a six pack in like a couple of months, or Wilder just didn't have the strength to actually land effective due to fatigue, you know? And so I like to believe it was due to fatigue. It looked like he was fatigued in that ring. So what I did was I averaged it out. So beforehand, I gave him a 90, but this time 65. So that averages out to a 78. So for stamina, I gave Deontay Wilder a 78.
I think that's criminal. But look,
all right, let's
look,
see.
the last Fury fight. This is what I'll say. He came in. He didn't look right, right? And I think he came out recently and said something like he wasn't right. He was a zombie, something. I haven't heard the whole interview. I haven't really listened to it. I just heard bits. But anyways, he says that he was a zombie. Something wasn't right with him. I think he even said there was a leg injury, and that's why the weighted thing, because it was like he came in with the leg injury, and that the heavy costume, whatever, didn't help because like you're wearing it on top of a leg injury or whatever, right? So whatever. I mean, it's not an excuse because you step in the ring anyways, right? And most guys don't step in 100%. So I'm not taking that as an excuse. I'm just saying, you know, context matters. I don't think he was at 100% when he stepped in the ring. So I can't use that as a litmus test. If I want to say, you know, equate that to every other fight and then give it equal weighting, I don't think it's
Yeah,
representative.
but remember, this is boxing, though. You're only as good as your last fight.
What have you done for me lately? Fair.
Exactly.
You know,
so
that's fine. But you know what? I mean, from my viewpoint, I think for stamina, I gave him a 93, and this is the reason why, is because, you know, like I said, for me, Wilder is in the elite company. So if you're in the elite company, most of your attributes are gonna be that high. And this is my viewing. Like if I were to, you know, rate like A level, B level, C level fighters, etc., that's where I kind of rank you. You know what I mean? But anyways, the reason why I gave him a 93 for stamina is because one, Wilder, I mean, hasn't had to make it 12 rounds in a lot of fights, but if he needs to, he can, right? Two, we've seen Wilder come from late in a fight and his power carried. I mean, in the Fury fight, he saved that fight in the 12th round with a knockdown, almost a knockout. So Wilder's stamina to me shows that he's never tired. He's never seen him tired. So stamina to me is like, you know, your conditioning, right? I think he's a very well-conditioned athlete. I think he's an athletic guy in general, but you know, his stamina, he's never tired in the ring like that. The worst we've seen him, even the worst we've seen him, he still comes back. You know what I mean? So I got to give him that respect that he's never come out. Even in the Fury fight, the rematch, even though he was getting battered around the ring, he was still trying to stay in the fight. So that also speaks to his heart, but there's also his stamina. If he was gassed, he would have been out of there. They say, conditioning or whatever, or tiredness makes cowards of all men. He wasn't tired. He was just hurt, but he was still in the fight. He still, even when they, what are you doing? He was complaining, right? So I don't think his stamina, you can take that away from him. Coming into the fight, if you want to say he might not have looked right, but that does not, mean that he didn't have the gas tank to go. If you look, we probably watched this together when Miguel Cotto fought Sergio Martinez, right? Sergio Martinez had a knee injury that from Jump Street, right? So he didn't look right from Jump Street. And then he, in the similar fashion, got beat up for the rest of the fight. He ended up retiring after that fight. So some fighters, if you come in with an injury or whatever, you don't look right. Things don't, it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? So I can't use this fight. He comes in and he looks, like tired or whatever. Then yeah, okay, maybe we can say now maybe something's going on with his gas tank. But I think his conditioning is actually pretty elite.
All right. So that means for stamina, you had 93 and I had 78. So the average is 86. And to be honest with you, it's actually on par with Trill and Caden. Trill had it at an 85 and Caden had it at an 86. So we're pretty much all in the same ballpark. All right.
So
this
we
is
took out
now.
Ned the hater.
Oh no, we didn't.
It's more
Yo,
of a
man, we not factoring in unnecessary hate. Like, come on, we still we have to have some level of
objectivity. Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
come on, man, like we're still dignified brothers out here. But this is where the controversy really is sparking, because now we're going into Deontay Wilder's chin.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother Caden gave Deontay Wilder a 76 for chin. Salute to Trill. Trill gave him a 90. And so we'll discuss it. So I'll start it off, right? So I also, like Trill, I gave Deontay Wilder a 90, right? The reason why is because let's look at a couple of fights. I've seen Deontay Wilder take several hooks to the face by Ortiz in part one. I've seen him take 2 clean left hooks from Stavern in their first fight. And I even seen Molina buckle Wilder's legs with a left hook, and Wilder did not fall from any of those shots, right? And then even when you look at the last fight with Fury in the rematch, right? Clearly, Deontay Wilder got outclassed. He got rocked in that fight. However, he still kept getting up. And so I think that's a testament to his chin, right? He's durable, Although he was hurt, he still kept getting up. And so because of that, I had to give Deontay Wilder a 94 chin.
Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I don't know if you got a bit.
What happened?
But you're coming in. In terms of his chin, I heard most of what you said. You gave him a 90, right?
Yeah, I gave him a 90.
I gave him a 95.
95.
And that's what you were saying. Look, Wilder's taken a lot. Everybody's been bigger than him, right? At least 20, 30 pounds, and he's not gone down. The only time we've seen him down, he got knocked by like a journeyman or something. He got knocked down. We can't even find that video, right? It's one of his early guys. You might in
you keep going
fight,
in and
whatever.
out. You keep going in and out.
I don't know.
Man. Yeah, you more complex. You gotta hold it down for Team Wilder out here.
You can.
When it's Boxing Bros UK, the signal is perfect.
It's because y'all in the UK, dog. Nah.
When it's Boxing Bros USA, man, I don't know. It's finicky out here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead. So start all over with the chin.
So Wilder, I gave him a 95 for the chin. The reason why is because Wilder's always been hit by guys big. It's early in his career. They said he was down. Caden loves to bring up the Eric Molina fight. He said he got rocked. But what I love about Caden is he loves to pick and choose little things that match his argument. Added Eric Molina around the ring.
Oh, caught with man, you got that Boost Mobile,
he was
man.
on shaky legs.
Damn, what's going on with you? What you got, AOL, brother?
What's going on?
I'm like, you got AOL, man? What we doing over here, man? You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Yo, man, you gotta get that Xfinity, bro.
Hold on. Hello, is it good now?
Yeah, you good now. Go ahead.
You know what? It might have been my VPN. I think my VPN was on. It might have been causing a disruption.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anyways, we're back. So let me just start over. So Wilder, I gave him for a chin. I gave him a 95. The reason why I give him a 95 is because I think Wilder's taken hits from much bigger men, and he's not gone down. Let's go back. The only time he's been down is one time against a journeyman, right? That they said knocked him down, but you can't really find the footage online. You want to maybe bring up his amateur career or something like that. Mm-hmm. Then, Caden loves to bring up the Eric Molina fight. But what he won't tell you is that Wilder dropped Eric Molina about 4 times in that fight, and that he only got caught like 1 time. You know what I mean? So in the process of whipping, Eric Molina around the ring, Eric Molina caught a good one on him, but he didn't even go down. He got stunned for a bit and then went on to finish beating him up. Then what else do you want to say? I mean, there's the Fury fight, the last one, where he got hit, but once again, it was hit behind the head. It wasn't like he got rocked on his jaw and he got like messed up. It was an awkward hit, it's, you know, I'm not going to cry foul or whatever and say, oh, it's illegal, whatever, but it is what it is. He got caught behind the head in an awkward moment, and he went down, and he still got up, and he still kept fighting. And, you know, Fury outweighed him by 50 pounds, but couldn't put him out, right? Wilder was basically, you know, had no legs, stand against the ropes, and Fury still couldn't put him out with all that. So how can Wilder have a bad chin or a weak chin or whatever when even a guy that heavy couldn't knock him out, right? Even whoever you want to put him up against, he's been taking hits. Luis Ortiz, he didn't go down in the 7th round. You know what I mean? Wilder's chin is elite. You know, the only reason that last fight got stopped is the referee would have stopped it or his corner stopped it. But he was awake. He was alert. He was like, I'm still trying to fight. You know what I mean? So, and you're talking about one fight out of 40.
Out of curiosity, let me ask you this question. How would you rank Anthony Joshua's chin?
Anthony Joshua's chin, I would give the thing is, I think I'd give him like an 89. So 89. All my things are high. I give him less because
why not like elite. A 90?
I don't want to say 90 because the thing is, for me, the reason why I've always been kind of skeptical about Joshua is I think his chin is a little bit suspect. The reason why is because I saw him go down in that Klitschko fight. I saw him get rocked by
Carlos Takam.
Even the Carlos Takam fight, no, Dillian White. You know, Dillian White had him pretty good. Then you want to talk about, you know, of course, the Ruiz fight where he got dropped like multiple times. You know what I mean? So I just felt like his chin was always a little suspect, and that's why whenever I thought him and Wilder would ever eventually fight, I was like, Wilder's going to crack him because I don't think he has that chin. I think when he gets hurt, he gets like flustered and he just starts like flailing and wailing, and he can't really control himself.
I know we're talking about Wilder, but just out of curiosity, do you factor in level of opponent? Because even when you brought up Dillian White, Vladimir Klitschko, and Andy Ruiz, these are like some top tier bad boys. So don't you factor in the fact that he's taking those shots from those brothers as opposed to –
Let's talk about it. So let's break it down one by one. Let's say Vladimir Klitschko. Yeah, he took a shot from Vladimir Klitschko, but at the same time, Vladimir Klitschko was like 42 at the time, and he was coming off a long layoff. Hold on.
But we talking about steroid Klitschko, bro. Like let's
just keep steroids,
bro. All of them on steroids back then. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? So like, look at Klitschko, bro.
I've never heard Klitschko on steroids. I'm just saying. You want to talk about steroid?
You're right. What Klitschko was clean. My bad.
Joshua was clean. Joshua was 100% clean.
You already know. I think Joshua will be on the juice too.
All right.
So I think they were both juicing in that fight.
So a juice head versus a juice head, then, if that's the case.
Pretty much.
Right. But anyways, at the time, like that Klitschko win, it's solid, but it's not like the win that people make it out to be. It wasn't the same Klitschko. One, Klitschko's been knocked out before. Two, this was an old Klitschko, right? And Klitschko took him to the brink. So you got a 26-year-old, you're in your prime, and you're fighting a 42-year-old man, and it went life and death. And it looked like Joshua was almost going to be out of there. So, I mean, it was a good win, but let's not, like, act like it was the real win. The real win was Fury when Fury beat Klitschko because that was Fury at the top of his game. Mm-hmm. Then after that, he took a 1 to 2 year layoff and then fought Joshua.
But remember, the focus is the chin.
On level of on chin.
Yeah, so how durable he is when it comes to taking shots.
Then Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a good fighter, but we haven't seen Andy Ruiz beat like other world-class fighters, I mean, that we've seen. His best win, of course, is Anthony Joshua, and then Anthony Joshua beat him back. So we don't really know where Andy Ruiz is right now. Andy Ruiz is a good fighter. I thought he was a good fighter. I thought he could beat Joshua because, like I said, I thought Joshua's chin is suspect. Mm-hmm. But even the Joseph Parker fight is close. I think he should have won that. But, you know, apart from that, who else can we say that he's really, really beaten, you know? So I think Andy Ruiz got some power, but I don't think that I would rank him just yet as elite. I don't know. He's a good fighter, so I'm not going to take that away from him. Then lastly, Dillian White. To me, Dillian White's trash. Dillian White's not that good of a fighter. Bro, people want to talk about Wilder's boxing ability. Have you guys watched Dillian White? We saw the last fight against, what's-his-face, Marius Walk. He looked like pure garbage, hot basura. Come on, don't talk to me about Dillian White.
Listen, I'm not really a Dillian White fan like that, but I have to come to his defense. This is Dillian White where he was about to give it up. He was about to hang up boxing because he felt like the WBC
don't give me that
was
sob
playing
story.
Nah,
Like
but
he
it's
took the.
Trill.
How do you get an
And the
outdrawn in your
narrative,
system?
you could follow the narrative and be like, all right, that makes sense. But like,
No, you cannot. That's he no. This was a fight that was set up for him to win impressively, and he looked like trash. How is it that so he's blaming the WBC? How did that stuff get in your system? It was a mistake or the B sample, whatever.
hey
These
man,
were not.
listen,
This
all I
was
know
not.
is he's
These
been
are
vindicated, right? So
steroids.
they cleared him. They cleared him. So
The day before the fight, the day before he fought Marius Walk.
hey man,
Whatever,
listen,
man.
listen. That's UCAD, bro. That's
whatever.
listen. But here at Boxing Bros USA, all I'm saying is with Dillian White, right? From what I see is, let's look at the fight he had with Povetkin.
He doesn't fight Povetkin.
Was it? Hold on. What was it, Povetkin? Damn, I'm trying to remember. You sure that wasn't Povetkin he fought?
He fought Marius Vok his last fight. Povetkin
there you go.
fought
Yeah, he fought. Yeah,
against,
Vok, the Viking, right? So that was literally off of a major layoff, depression.
6 months.
Probably.
It was a 6-month layoff. It wasn't major.
Man. Hey, man. Yo, you see what happens, man? Like, yo, these dudes put on weight, man. You know what I mean? Like,
he looked way out of shape. I mean, look.
How about this? What about the two Chisora fights?
Chisora is a journeyman. And the first fight, they went life and death. The second fight, he was losing until he caught Chisora on the chin. Chisora is chinny. He's been knocked out multiple times.
Chisora, how about this?
You know what's funny?
I give you that. I give you that. Then what about Dillian White's performance against Joseph Parker, where he won
Didn't he almost get knocked
decisively?
Out? No, he almost got knocked out.
He won decisively in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not trash, bro. He's not trash. Like,
he's not. Maybe
he has
decent
speed. He has decent power. He has a decent chin.
For these eras heavyweights, he's good. He's a good heavyweight. Mm-hmm. But is he on the elite level? No, he's not. I don't think he is. But whatever. All right.
You know, we'll agree to disagree with regards to Dillian White and Anthony Joshua.
But anyways, chin for Wilder's for me is 95.
95. All right. So you got 95. I got 90. So the averages out to a 93. Now let's go to footwork. And so I'll actually, you want to go take the lead on this? I will say this though. Trill had his footwork at 80 and Caden had his footwork at 70.
Yeah. That's funny because I have it at 80. I give him an 80. Just because he doesn't have like elite footwork. I'll give you that. I think his footwork works for him and his style. And that's the thing, is that a lot of boxing purists want to talk about orthodox styles and whatever, but what they don't realize is that Wilder's success comes from him being unorthodox, and it's for a reason. There's a method to the madness. His footwork is awkward. You know, I remember Fury's like, oh, his foot stance are so wide and whatever, but that works for him. Now, will he change it up in the next fight and moving forward? Maybe, but you know, I give him an 80 just because I think he is a decent boxer overall. So I don't want to give him like a low score, but I give him an 80. I think it's fair, and I think Trill and Caden, I'm not mad at their scores either. I think 80 is fair.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you said an 80 because I actually agree with Caden on this one. I give him a 70, and because with Deontay Wilder, it's a tough one because when it comes to his footwork, I kind of equate it similar to Dillian White, right? With Dillian White's footwork, it's not the best, right? But however, like certain things that Wilder does in regards to footwork, like the wide base, actually makes sense, especially when you're generating that type of power, that type of force when you're, hitting somebody with the straight right hand. However, the problem is, though, when a person comes forward, like I've seen with Tyson Fury in the rematch and what's his name? Areola, right? When Wilder fought Areola. Anytime a person applies pressure, Wilder, for some reason, it seems like he forgets what to do with his feet, and that could go into boxing IQ as well. But I'm also factoring it in regards to his footwork. And so because of that, that's why I had to give him a 70. All right. So we got you gave him for footwork at 80. I gave him a 70, similar to Trill and Caden's score, and that averages out to a 75. So then now, all right, this is another controversial one. I'll save you for last. I'll go first on this one. So, Trill gave Deontay Wilder a 95, which I was surprised. However, Caden gave him a 77. I forgot exactly what Caden said in regards to that, but I remember I said, you know what? Based upon his argument, I can respect his logic on why he gave the 77. I may not agree with the number, but I understood his breakdown, and his breakdown made sense. But for me, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, when it comes to Hart, I gave him a 90%, or excuse me, a 90, right? And the reason why is because, I believed him. Like, he wants all the big fights. I don't see him running. The only person I could probably maybe entertain an argument for would be a Dillian White, right? But
Bro,
logically, it
you and I
doesn't even
talked
make
about
sense.
this.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't
You
even make
can't.
sense for him to like risk versus reward. It doesn't even make sense for him to even try to secure a Dillian White fight when the Anthony Joshua fights out there, Tyson Fury fights out there. So he had better options, right? But what I'm saying is, in regard, and not just that, right? Wilder, I believe everything that he says. He actually believes it. It's not like an act, right? He truly believes he's the best fighter on planet Earth, and he tries to show it time and time again every time he enters the ring. And so because of that, and on top of that, salute to Trill on this argument. Well, it wasn't really an argument, but it was a point that he made. He's like, yo, listen, they're boxers. They all have heart. None of them are scared, like, and I'll make the same argument even with Dillian White. Dillian White's not scared. Anthony Joshua's not scared. Like, these guys have been fighting since they were youngins. You know what I mean? So, like, they're built for this. As long as the money's right, they're willing to risk it all in the ring. And so because of that, I gave Deontay Wilder a 90.
Okay. Well, I give him a 99.
99.
So,
all right.
This is the reason why I give him a 99. For Hart, that's probably Wilder's biggest attribute. Bigger than his right hand is he has the biggest heart. Like I said, I became a Wilder stan.
Hold on a second. All right, so sorry about that, everybody. So now back to Deontay Wilder. In regards to Hart, we got Complex at 99, and I gave Deontay Wilder a 90. So that averages out to, I didn't even do the math on this one. Sorry, 99.
So it's like a 95.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, I don't even need the calculator for that. All right, and so now the last but not least, this is probably the most controversial category, especially for Deontay Wilder. And we will be talking about boxing IQ. So, our brothers, Trill, gave Deontay Wilder 75. But Caden, unfortunately, gave Deontay Wilder a 20.
It was goofy.
So then now, Mo,
Complex.
Oh, Complex. Excuse me. What's your thoughts on Deontay Wilder's boxing IQ?
I give him an 80. I give him an 80. Yeah, I think he's got respectable boxing knowledge. I mean, Wilder started boxing at the age of 20. And when I say started boxing, not professionally, I mean he picked up his first pair of gloves at the age of 20. He went from there to a bronze medal at the Olympics, and then world champion, and then a 5-year reign as world champion. You can't do that with a 20% boxing knowledge. If it was a 20% boxing knowledge, people don't even make sense sometimes. How is it your sport that somebody with 20% boxing knowledge can make it that far? What does that say about boxing? Doesn't make any sense. He's at least, at the very least, if you want to say he's not as skillful, yes, he relies on his power, but he has to get that there. Any guy on the street could throw a right hand. Anybody. Come on, what are we talking about? There's a lot of guys, big, strong guys, who try to go at boxing. What happened to Seth Mitchell? Big, strong guy, athletic. But it takes more than just that. It takes more than just strength and power and even height or length or whatever. You got to be able to put it all together, and Wilder does that. Is he the most masterful, skillful boxer? Is he Bernard Hopkins? Is he Andre Ward? Is he Floyd Mayweather? No. But he's a decent level IQ that gets him to where he needs to be. And obviously got him pretty far. So I give him an 80. I don't want to disrespect other guys by putting him in the 90s because I don't think his boxing IQ is on par with the guys that I just mentioned because I respect their boxing knowledge or IQ. But he does have good boxing knowledge and it's gotten him this far. You can't be that far in the game with a 20% boxing IQ. This doesn't make any sense.
All right. This is I disagree with your number, right? But I respect where you're coming from. And this is kind of funny because surprisingly, my number is actually lower than Trill. So I gave him a 65, and
I want to hear
but
this.
but this is where I'm different from Caden and Ned. Especially when I was shocked that Ned said because he only has one punch, he gets 1 point. The reason why I gave him a 65 is because I don't believe Wilder actually is just a one-trick pony, right? To be honest with you, he's a two-trick pony, right? And the reason why I say this is because I've seen Wilder drop Molina with a left hook. I've seen him rock Areola with a left hook. And so to say he only has the straight right hand, it kind of does a disservice, you know. He also has a left hook. He doesn't utilize it as obviously as much as his bread and butter, but he still connects and he uses it often. He also used his left hook during the Stavern fight, but sometimes it's like too wild and like loopy, so I don't like to consider those as effective punches. But that's one thing. Another positive about Deontay Wilder is he knows how to set up his right hand. Um, I know a lot of people weren't like wowed by his Ortiz rematch, but one thing that I did see was he was disciplined in that ring. Right, the difference between Ortiz 1 and the Ortiz rematch was he was pacing himself. You could see he was angling his position throughout like what was it, like 7 rounds?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so that's one thing I was like, you know what? I could see Wilder's learning from his past mistakes, especially with uh, um, Ortiz, who's a southpaw, right? And so Wilder showed like a different like strategy to me. And even though people were like, oh, this is boring and he's losing every round, I think he was willing to give up those rounds to set up that perfect timing to just land that right hand. And then voila, we have that victory, a knockout victory for Deontay Wilder. But now let's talk about the negatives, right? And so the negatives are, to me, he only has 2 punches, right? He got the left hook that he uses on occasion and his straight right hand, right?
Can we
Which is
define what is a punch, though? What does that mean to have a punch?
to have a punch. All right, so to me, it's kind of like with boxing IQ is like how many punches you have in your arsenal, right? Like if you had like a toolkit, like, hey, I know I could use the left hook, the right hand, I could use the uppercut, I could use, a number of punches to get a guy out of there, or to use it to not get hurt, and so, and that's another thing. That's a good thing that you brought that up. I wasn't even thinking about that. When Wilder gets attacked, right? And so I spoke about this earlier. When it comes to fighters that apply pressure, Areola was an example even before the Fury rematch. When Wilder is being, when pressure is being applied to Deontay Wilder, he doesn't know how to defend himself in the inside. And that's a major problem, And so I haven't seen him adjust on the inside for a couple of fights. And so because of that, obviously that's a couple of knocks down on his score. Also, the fact that he over utilizes his right hand for victory to me is a problem as well. Because then now what happens is your opponent is anticipating that. Like for example, Tyson Fury in the first fight anticipated that. Ortiz, in the first fight, he also anticipated that. Ortiz even in the second, but Ortiz then got fatigued, got tired, and then just walked into the right hand. So like what happens if, like, say, a Tyson Fury who now minimizes your ability to activate your straight right hand? What are you going to do now? And so because of that, those negatives brought down my score for Deontay Wilder's boxing IQ. And on top of that, too, let's just be real. His earlier fight, he doesn't necessarily do it as much now, but a lot of his earlier fights with the windmill punches and all of that, if he was fighting skilled opponents, that would have been multiple times where he could have got countered and possibly dropped, And so, but I understand he started boxing later, this and the third. But I'm not gonna give you A's for effort. There's no effort. It's either you produce or you don't produce.
But he
And when
did
it comes
produce.
but not in regards to boxing IQ. He produces when it comes to knockouts. But when we're talking about boxing IQ, is there's levels to this, right? And so Wilder, and again, I like Wilder, but I'm not gonna lie and say he has a high boxing IQ. I think it doesn't deserve a 20, like Caden said, but I could respect anything within like the 50 to like the 70. I get the upper 70s. I think that's fair for Deontay Wilder, and I agree with that other point that you said. For him to get the belt and then defend it for that long, clearly he has to have some level of boxing IQ. But that doesn't mean he has the best boxing IQ.
No, agree.
Yeah, so that's why I had to give him a 65. Okay. So we got.
What's our score? What's our final score for Wilder?
Hold on. So let's first do a little recap of the boxing IQ. So boxing IQ, you had him at 80, and I have him at 65. So let's do this average real quick.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep.
So that gives us an average of 73. And so now we about to do the overall, but let me just recap all of them. So collectively, for Deontay Wilder, for power, we have it on an average of 97. For speed, 89. For stamina, 86. For chin, 93. Footwork, 75. Heart, 95. And boxing IQ, 73. And for the overall score, hold on. Overall score. Just add this up, 95, 89, 86, 93, 75, 95, 73. And we have 7 categories for an average of 87. Hold on. That's crazy. Wait a minute. Oh, you know what? Our average is still higher than Trill and Cadence because their overall was a 78. Ours is a 87. I'm comfortable with the 87.
He's one of the top
Complex
3.
Don't look too happy. Yeah, what happened?
No, sorry, I was zoning out a little bit. I think that's a fair number. 87 sounds about right. I mean, I think closer to 90. Like I said, when you're at the world level, that A level, I think you should be around the 90s, and above. And obviously, some things are weaker, but his power. That's why I put his power at a 99 and his heart at a 99 because his boxing IQ, his footwork, certain things like that are lower. But that's what brings him up because it's his intangibles that is what makes him, one of the best fighters today, honestly. So,
yeah, but earlier today.
Bomb Squad.
Earlier today, we actually did this for Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua's overall score, we had it at 89. So and and Kaden was upset at me. He blamed me. He blamed my score for
he loves Joshua.
Yeah,
talk about
hey man, we gotta show love to
his UK bros.
His
UK bros. Hey.
Kaden.
Joshua's the UK savior.
You know what I mean? So so everybody, please like, share, subscribe. We thank y'all for all the support, all the comments. Hey, man, show love, show hate, whatever, whether you're a Wilder fan.
I'm in the comments all day, so what's up?
Hater, it's all good. It's all love. We're going to definitely respond. But, yeah, as you know, this is Boxing Bros signing out. Peace.